Hi beautiful people, and welcome back or welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be doing a little chatty get ready with me. This is my everyday makeup look. I do have a few new products, so I wanted to film a new makeup video for you guys because these products are life-changing to my makeup. Like, look how smooth it looks. There's no filter on this, no smoothing, nothing. This is filmed on my iPhone, so what you see is what you get, girl. And honestly, these products have made such a huge difference in my new makeup routine. We're also going to be chatting about my neighbor's dog. So many of you guys have been wanting a story time, so you guys little updates, even though there's not very many, but I do want to give you like a whole tea of the entire situation. So let's get into this tutorial. Okay, so I know I look horrendous, but I just got out the shower. I did my little skincare, and today we're going to be doing a chatty get ready with me because you guys, I have to finally go over the entire story of my neighbor's dog. First, I primed my skin with the Pond's moisturizer. I have very dry skin and this is absolutely amazing. I like to use the Pond's dry skin cream. This is it right here. It's perfect as a base because it does not leave my skin looking flaky. Now that I have moisturized my skin, I like to take this little ice roller that I got from Amazon. I struggle with like puffy face. I think honestly it comes from a symptom of my PCOS, but anyone, if you have like a puffy face, now that I have moisturized my skin, I like to take this little ice roller that I got from Amazon. I struggle with like puffy face. I think honestly it comes from a symptom of my PCOS, but anyone, if you have like a puffy face, I definitely will recommend that you look into these little ice rollers. I got mine on Amazon for I think like $6, and I just literally roll out my skin. Let's get into my little story time, besties. So I live in an apartment complex, and at my apartment complex, they have like little balconies, just like most. And for mine, you can kind of see like my neighbor's patio. Since I live a little bit higher up, I could see the neighbor's patio that's below me. And I don't mean directly below me, they're like kind of across. So I could just see every day this patio. Weirdly, this patio is the only one that I could really see like that. Like literally I can't see really very many other ones, but the way that this one is positioned, it's the one that I have to see like every single day. So a couple months back, I noticed that there's this cute little doggy that lives over on this patio. And now I am an animal lover, girl. Any type of animal, whether it's a dog, a cat, a raccoon, whatever it is, I love it. It was starting to become super apparent to me that this dog was always outside, and I mean always outside. Now in the nighttime, they do bring him in, which is really good. Like obviously every dog should, in my opinion, sleep in the house at nighttime, or at least somewhere where it's warm. No one should be sleeping outside. But also this is coming from someone who feels so bad for like deer and rabbits because they don't have somewhere to sleep. So I understand that it's not in everyone's position to keep their dogs in the house, but personally for me, I feel like they should be inside. So I noticed this overall pattern. I constantly would hear this little doggy barking every single morning at the crack of dawn, like literally 4 or 5 a.m. I would hear him barking, crying to go in the house. The time that I first noticed this, it was very cold outside. It was very rainy, very stormy, and you guys, this dog was still outside. Thank God he does have like a little cover over his patio, but you guys, he's just sitting there constantly, like all the time. He doesn't have any blankets, a bed. They do have a little chair out there, like a fold-up chair that he will sit on like from time to time. But it was just so sad seeing him all the time by himself, getting no play, no time, no one-on-one love. My heart was hurting for him. And in case you guys are curious, the eye cream I'm using is from Ren Clean Skincare. This is the under eye brightening and dark color correcting serum. I'm going to be putting up my brows with the Got2 Be Glue eyebrow gel. Actually, I don't even think it's for your eyebrows. It's just regular gel. So I wanted to take it upon myself to at least go by and like give him some pets. I don't know the type of love and affection that he gets at home, but girl, best believe I wanted to go over there and give him some love in case he wasn't getting any. I'm going over there, and I always noticed that the blinds in the windows were always shut closed, so regardless if it was like crying or scratching at the door, nobody would come to his aid. Nobody would like check on him. He would just be out there. Like I said, I started forming a habit and going over there and visiting him. And on my little visits, I would notice that his ribs were showing extremely a lot. Like, girl, his ribs were showing a whole lot. At this point, I'm starting to get concerned because not only is he outside getting no type of love and like totally being abandoned by his owners, he's also so skinny, and I never seen a food or water bowl out there with him, literally ever. So he did have bowls out there, but they were always empty. So I'm like, I don't know, maybe if he ate his food and it's like 5 p.m. and he's hungry again or what, but his food and water was always empty. So at this point, I decided, well, you know what? If he's hungry, I can't just let a dog starve and me stare at him every single day. So I started to make a point to also make him dinner. So I would assume that his owner was like working or whatever. At this point of time in the story, I didn't know his owners. I didn't know if it was a woman, if it was a child. Like, I didn't know anything. I'm like 11 or 12, I would go over there and feed him. And like I said, at this point, I didn't know what his owners were doing. All I knew was that I had to be quiet and sneaky because I did not want anyone to see me feeding their dog. Mind you, it is raining outside and I'm having to sneak over there, like literally cross over puddles of water, bend down because they have like a little slit in the bottom of our patios, so I could kind of just literally stick the bowl under and I would hold on to it. I couldn't see anything while he was eating because it's like a cement wall, but I would just hold it underneath the thing and I would feel him eating. You guys, he was so excited to be eating food. Like, I'm like, okay, this dog is starving. Like, literally starving, bones showing, so skinny. Like I said, it was so cold at this time. It was raining. I brought him a little blanket because he had no type of warmth or anything to keep him warm. I brought him 2 little squeaky toys, the little blankie, and then like I said, I would go over and feed him food. I didn't want the owners to know that I was feeding him food, so I made sure to always bring my bowl back with me. Except one time I accidentally left his little water bowl out there. I had to bring a water bowl and I filled it with water and I left it for him, and I totally forgot to go and like grab it before the owners got back or before the owners let him in the house. And I think that's the day that they knew that something was up. Also, they found a blanket and toys. Like, of course they're gonna know something is up. Hello, I need to use my brain. But at that point, I didn't care. I just wanted the baby to be happy. So life goes on. I'm still going and visiting him. And at this point, I don't mind at all doing all this because like I said, I love animals and I want him to live a great life. But I don't think it's fair that he has to live like this. And it's not fair also to me because I'm having to use all of my resources. I'm having to pay for all these things to bring over there, which again, I don't mind, but he's not my dog and I shouldn't have to do that. And at this point, I felt like if I wasn't doing that, his chances of like survival or depression is super high. So at this point, I started posting it on my social media and I wanted my besties to know, like, what should I do? Am I doing something wrong? What should I do? A lot of people messaging me saying that I should call animal control, maybe call my leasing office. So I decided to do both. I'm gonna be prepping my eyelids, of course, with the e.l.f. Hydrating Concealer in Light Peach, my favorite shade and also my favorite concealer. I've tried many concealers and this one is just amazing. First thing was to call animal control, and that's exactly what I did. I called animal control and I let them know the situation, that it's very cold outside. The dog is always outside, basically sitting in the rain. There was lots of poop in his area, so he's always standing and stepping in his poop. Every time I would come and visit him, he would just be like standing and jumping and crying for me. You guys, the way he would cry for me and look at me in my eyes broke my heart. I truly feel like animals and humans, if you are a special human, you can not talk to animals, but you definitely can relate on like an energy level. And I feel like most animals, when I meet them, instantly love me and are drawn to me because they know that I'm a good person and I'm trying to help them. And if that sounds crazy to you, that's fine. You're probably just not a chosen one, but I genuinely feel like I'm put on this earth to help not only people, but animals, importantly. I just felt like he knew I was there to help him, and that's why I could see his patio and only his patio. So I called animal control, let him know his situation, just everything, that he was skinny, he never has food and water, I have to bring it to him, blah, blah, blah. They basically laughed in my face on the phone. She laughed at me and said, does he have shelter? And I said, well, if you consider a patio shelter, then I guess. She chuckled a little bit and said, then there's nothing I can do, and hung up the phone on me. So I'm like, okay, well, if they're not gonna help me, then I definitely need to call my leasing office and maybe they can do something. You know, I'm thinking since they have an animal that is starving and being neglected on their property, constantly on their patio, maybe they could at least call the guy or text him, leave him a message, something, girl. Over to my leasing office. I was gonna do an over phone call, but I just felt like it was better that I go in person, and I had little videos of the dog at the time, so I showed them my little videos and I let them know exactly what was going on. Same thing as I did with animal control. I'm just gonna be setting my eyelids with the Fenty Beauty Pro Filter powder. Now, you guys can call me a Karen all you want. I know my man was calling me a Karen at the time because he didn't really understand the whole like circumstances of it. he just kind of seen a few things and was like, well, it's none of my business. And me and him are very different. Like, he grew up in the sense where his family would be like, mind your business. If you're in public and you see people arguing, whatever, mind your business. My family, on the other hand, my mom was an EMT her whole life, basically. So we definitely were the type of people, if you see someone or an animal in need of help, you better get your ass over there and help them. Doesn't matter if you're minding your business or not, like, you need to help them. That was my kind of soul, or like, that was my brain towards this, was if he needs help, I need to help him. And my man was more of like a mind your business type of guy, which I can't blame him, and neither can you. That's just how he was raised, and people are always raised differently. For my eyeshadow, I'm just using the Juvias Place bronzer palette, and I'm just basically mixing these two colors, and I'm gonna rub it all over my eyelid. After talking to my leasing office about the doggy, basically informed me that this certain house that I was talking about, she knew the guy that lived there because she's always having to call him regarding certain things. And of course, she's not going to tell me his business because that's all like confidential private information, but she just basically said that she has had a little bit of problems with this guy before with like multiple other things. She knew exactly the house that I'm talking about. Also mentioned that she always sees his son walking by himself. So in a sense, she kind of gave me an idea of who lives there, which was a single dad and a younger boy. I always see this younger boy, me and my boyfriend always see him. We feel so bad. And I know it sounds creepy, but I always want to offer him a ride because he's always walking around places by himself. And when I say he's a younger boy, I mean he's probably like 8 years old or something. Like, he's very young. She also mentioned to me that the owner of the doggy, the dad of the boy, works really far away. I guess he works like 4 hours away, so he has to leave super early, and that's exactly why he puts the dog out at like 4 a.m. because he leaves very early to get to work, works all day, and then gets home very late. So at this point, I'm kind of feeling sympathy for the owners because you just never know what people are going through, and I totally understand. Sometimes if you bite off more than you can chew, you just don't know what you can do and you feel like you don't have resources. So she mentioned to me that in our lease contract, it says that you cannot have your pets on the patio all day long. Like, they can't be left on the patio. They have to have access into the house, which they do not have. And also brought up the fact that the dog never has any food or water either, which is also an issue, but not really with them, more animal control. She said she was going to try to call up and ring the father and let him know that the dog needs to be brought inside throughout the day. Of course, he could be out there for a few hours, but he has to be brought in from time to time. So at that point, I left the front office and just said, okay, girl, let me know, call me, let me know an update. I want to keep updated with this, and I just want to make sure that this dog is safe. So leaving the office, something in my gut was just telling me that she wasn't going to take this necessarily seriously, that she was kind of looking over it and kind of just saying whatever I wanted to hear to get me out of the office. Took matters into my own hands, and I wrote a letter, bitch. Yes, I wrote a letter on the door. Girl, but it's an animal and he needs my help, so I don't give a F what you want to call me. As always, I'm going to be taking my ColourPop single shadow in the shade Ritz. This is an Urban Decay dupe for the Glitter in Space Cowboy. This literally looks the exact same. I'm just going to put this on my finger and tap it on my lid. So in my little letter that I wrote, I basically just ran it down, and I try to do it as nice as possible because sometimes I feel like parents or just anyone in life feels like they don't have resources. So I wanted to be a resource to this guy in case he just didn't even know what to do with the dog. If he wanted to give the dog away but just didn't even know where to start, I wanted to let him know that I was there for him and the dog in case they needed me. I'm now going to be using the Define a Lash Mascara from Maybelline, and honestly, this sucks. I hate it so bad. Definitely don't purchase it, but I don't like to waste, so I'm going to use it anyways. And instead of this brush, I use my other brush from a different mascara. So in my letter, like I said, I basically just said, hey, I am your neighbor. I'm concerned about your dog. I see that he's always outside in the cold by himself. I'm not sure if you are willing to give him up to me, but I work with a rescue and I can totally find him an amazing, loving home that will give him all the love and attention that he needs. I also made sure to put in there that regardless of what you decide, I am not judging you or your circumstances, because you never know. Maybe in his head, he was thinking, you know what, this dog is like so much, and maybe it's just adding more stress to his plate. I know he works far, he's got a kid at home by himself. Like, I'm sure his life is really stressful and hard. So I wanted to be, you know, respectful in a sense where like I could help relieve some of the stress by moving the dog somewhere else. And so yeah, I just asked if he would surrender the dog to me. And I also mentioned not to be selfish in a sense where like you just want to hold on to the dog to hold on to it. At that point, if you're never going to be with the dog, hanging out with the dog, giving the dog love, walking the dog, then maybe you shouldn't have a dog. Like I said, I put my note on the door and I did not want to leave my number, but I'm like, how else is he gonna ever call me in case he wants to give me the dog? So I put on the bottom, your friendly neighbor, and I left my phone number. I did not put my apartment number because I'm like, hell no, this motherfucker's not gonna know where I live. I just put my phone number in case he wanted to give me a call. In case you guys are hearing all these noises in the background, let me show you what the dogs are doing. These two are having a battle for the toys. Gemma's over there sleeping. Gabbana's right here. Mocha is asleep in this little puppy bed. By the way, T is with his daddy in the other room. He doesn't really get along too well with these dogs. Like, I feel like they always bully him. So I like him to play with his daddy. Or if he's playing with these ones, I have to be like really supervising. At this point, you guys, it's been about 2 weeks. And I'm just like, where's my updates? I've got no phone call, no text message from this guy. I got no phone call from the leasing office. So I'm like, okay, let's call the leasing office and see if she has an update for me. Now, I also forgot to mention, I told the lady at the leasing office to let the guy know once she got a hold of him, in case he was interested in giving his dog away to his neighbor. His neighbor was really interested and had a very good lady that wanted the dog. So I did have her relay that message on to him. Well, so I thought. So once I called my leasing office about 2 weeks later, I just said, hey, do you have an update for me? I haven't heard back from you guys. This dog is still outside in the same exact circumstances. I'm still going over there. I'm still feeding the dog exactly how I was. Like, what's going on? At this point, she basically just informed me that it's extremely hard to get a hold of this guy. They called him one time and he didn't pick up, and they called him a second time, he didn't answer, and they basically just gave up. I said, girl, this dog is basically our responsibility now. If you don't call him again until he answers, like, this is really important. He told me, okay, I'm gonna give him another call. I'll let you know if I hear anything back, blah, blah, blah. I feel like at this point, I was definitely bugging them. Like, every time I called, they're just like, oh, like, you again, basically, you know? So I wanted to make sure that they stayed on top of it and actually got a hold of him, since I couldn't get a hold of him with the letter on the door. Remind you, the letter was off of the door, so I know that they received the letter. I just, at that point, just figured that they just weren't even interested in surrendering the dog to me. Which I understand, like, it's their dog, rightfully so. They have their own decisions to make, but whatever. So the next day I wake up and I actually see the dog's dad outside cleaning up the patio. I see him feeding his dog some food and water, and I was like, wow, like, this isn't something that I've ever seen before. Like, I'm honestly shocked right now. So now I'm getting a visual of what the owner looks like. I had no idea what they looked like before, and now I could see it's basically like a gym rat. Like, think of someone in their mid-30s, really big muscles, little gym outfit. Like, all they care about is, let's go to the gym and build muscles. And I'm like, okay, now I'm starting to see why the dog lives like this. At this point, I see him actively trying to feed the dog, take the dog out more. And I also noticed that the dog wasn't being left outside as much. He was always brought inside. He was only out there for like maybe an hour, and then he was brought inside, and I wouldn't see him very much at all anymore, which kind of made me think, like, did I do the right thing? Because now I'm not seeing him and he's just inside. Like, I don't know if he's in a cage. I don't know if he's still eating. I was very worried because I didn't get to see him or play with him. I started noticing that when he was left outside, that the owners started opening up all their blinds and all their curtains so they could see out. I really feel like they did this because they wanted to see who the mystery girl was that wrote the letter to the apartment, and also the mystery girl that called the leasing office to complain. The dog was outside. I really couldn't go and see him because now they're actively trying to figure out who was this mystery person. I felt so bad because I just couldn't even see him anymore. Like, I would walk past, I would say hello, try to be really sly and slick, but I definitely couldn't go over to him and feed him anymore because, like I said, the time he was outside, the windows and everything were wide open so they could make sure that they seen who it was. The lashes that I'm using are from Amazon. There are the Yawamika Russian lashes, and I have them in my Amazon storefront. So now it goes by like 2 weeks or so, and he's, you know, being brought in the house. Can't really go over there and check up on him too much at this point, but I was just happy that he was out of the rain and in like a warm house regardless. And also at this point in California, the weather is so crazy. One day it's raining, the next it's sunny. So now it's starting to warm up. That it's warming up, I actually seen the dog being walked by the little boy. So not the dad, but the son. While I seen them on a walk, I introduced myself to the little boy. I just said, hi, I'm your neighbor. Your dog is so cute. What's his name? How old is he? I see him from time to time and I think he's adorable. And this is the foundation that I'm using. I've been obsessed with this, you guys. It's so amazing. This is my new favorite. It's from Essence. And this is the Keep Me Covered foundation. I'm in the shade 80 light medium. And I didn't think it was weird for me to go up to the little boy because several of my other neighbors actually went up to him and introduced themselves as well. I think everybody kind of just wanted to meet this dog because we kind of all could see him outside all the time. So the little boy basically tells me that the dog is 6 to 7 weeks old, which obviously he's not 6 to 7 weeks old. I think he meant months. And that the dog does not have a name. I'm like, what? The dog doesn't have a name? He's like, yeah, we just got him not too long ago and I keep changing the name. I don't know what to name him. I said, oh, okay, well, that's okay. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time to come up with a name. And then he tells me that the dog loves to be outside. This was so random, you guys. He instantly just said, yeah, like he loves to be outside. I don't know why, but he just loves it so much. And then when I bring him inside, I have him sleep with me in bed. I was like, oh, wow, that's so nice of you. Like, I'm sure he loves to sleep with you. And I also said, like, you know, a lot of dogs like to be outside. I'm now going to take a little bit of that foundation and just go around my brows. So at this point, we kind of walked away. We did our own thing, whatever. And I finally got to meet him, though, like, outside, not in a patio. He was jumping all over me, crying so hard. I'm like, maybe this is a given sign that I'm the person, because he was just so excited to meet me in real life, the dog. And I was so excited to meet him. Another week or so goes by and I noticed that the doggy is starting to be left outside a little bit more. Now, instead of being in the rain, he was being left in the super heat, and every time I would look at him, he just looked so depressed, just drained. Like, he just looked so over everything. Just in a little ball, sleeping most of the day by himself, and it was really sad to me. So this is when I started to get my F it mode, and even though that the windows and blinds were kept open, I was like, I'm still gonna go over there. So one morning, I went over there, as I always did, except this time I had a bag of fresh cantaloupe. And I had cut up cantaloupe for my dogs, and I also wanted to bring him some cantaloupe because I feel like that's a perfect little snack for the warm days. So on the day that I decided to bring the cantaloupe over, I was actually headed out to a dog show with my boyfriend. Well, he went to the car with Cash Cow, my dog. I had so many things in my hands like this, like literally 30 different things, and I had his little bag of cantaloupe. Over to his little apartment, I set all my bags down, and I started walking over to the little patio with the cantaloupe. Girl, when I tell you I was about to grab a piece of cantaloupe out of the bag and feed the dog, his dad opens up the sliding glass door, and me and him are both just standing there like, hi. Girl, when I tell you it was so effing awkward, I didn't even know what to do. I'm like, oh my God, what do I say? What do I do? They finally caught the crook that's been sneaking over, giving their dog food, toys, water, whatever. And so I'm like, oh my God, I hope he doesn't know that it's me, because he's gonna be pissed and think that I'm trying to get his dog taken away or whatever. So I act dumb. I see your dog sometimes, he's so cute. Like, what's his name? And he's just like, hi. He doesn't have a name. My son keeps changing the name. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, bye. I didn't end up giving him his cantaloupe. It was so awkward. He finally seen me. I finally seen him. And it was just, girl, I wanted out. So I just picked up my stuff and walked away. Set my concealer. I'm using that same Fenty Beauty Pro Filter powder. You guys, this powder is the best setting powder I've ever used. You guys know I'm a drugstore fanatic. I love drugstore makeup products, but this powder is just so flawless, so soft. It smells so good, and it's just so amazing. It keeps my under eyes literally looking like a filter all day, bitch. So at this point, I'm terrified. I don't want to be seen again over there. I stopped seeing the dog. I see him from my patio from time to time. He just looks at me, and honestly, you guys, the way he looked at me was just like, I feel like he was upset with me. It just looked like he was mad at me. Every time I would talk to the dog, it just wasn't the same. I could tell he almost probably felt like neglected by me, because I randomly one day just stopped going over there and seeing him. So now, current day update. He's still being left outside. It rained over here recently. He was outside in the rain. I felt so effing bad. I actually did end up going over there and bringing him a little treat. But you guys, I don't know what to do. The little boy convinced me that he was taking good care of him. I believed it for a minute. I'm like, okay, wow, it seems like he's getting, you know, the love that he finally deserves. And then a few weeks later, it's back to the same routine. He's back outside all the time, always by himself. bored out of his mind. Although I do always hear him squeaking his little toys, so I'm gonna go bring him some more because I know that he loves them. Yeah, I just feel really bad. I don't know what to do, you guys. This is still ongoing, like nothing has changed. I don't really know what to do from here. I don't know if I should try to call animal control again. I don't know if I should call my leasing office again or what, but every time I see him, he just looks more and more depressed. And so I know that this dog does not have a name at this point, but I call him Buddy. That's just what I refer to him as because he's my little buddy and I'm his little buddy. So when he hears that name, I want him to think of me like his little friend, his buddy. I have started going over there again. I do a very sly and very slick, girl, if I get caught again, I'm done for. But I do go over there with an occasional treat or an occasional cookie, asking him if he'd surrender the dog to me, trying to get animal control involved, trying to get the leasing office involved, but no one is trying to help. At this point, I just kind of feel helpless and I feel so bad, like I can't do more for him. And now my boyfriend is like, I feel so bad. And you know what's bad if my boyfriend is like noticing and wanting to help the dog too. Because at this point, he's like, okay, no more minding our business. Like, this is actually really sad and very serious. Like, what can we do? The bronzer I'm using is my favorite bronzer right now. It's from Juvia's Place. This is the tan palette and it's gorgeous, so pigmented. And I just, of course, bronze up all around my face. So I do my cheekbones, my forehead, the bottom of my nose, and then my jawline. His little blanket that I gifted him, they threw away. I think they threw it away because it got dirty and got poop on it, of course. Like, at that point, just wash it. Like, he needs it. He loved the little blanket. He would always lay on it. So I'm honestly upset that they just threw it away. Same blush as always. This is the Juvia's Place Volume 4 palette. I like to use this shade right here. So I have a new theory about what I think happened with the note. Guys, honestly, what I think had happened was, while at work, Sadelli put the letter on the door. So while he was at work, for some reason, I think the little boy got a hold of the letter before his dad did. I think he probably threw the letter away because it is the little boy's dog. So of course he doesn't want some random person to come take his dog. I think he started to take the dog on walks, try to make it be known that the dog is being loved and cared for. And when I met him, I think the little boy knew that it was me. I think he was making sure to tell me, like, I love the dog so much. The dog sleeps with me. He loves to be outside. I think he was trying to convince me to leave them alone. And it worked. I believed him. I thought that he was loving him and taking care of him again. So for now, I'm just doing what I can, heading over there when I can, giving him treats when I can. I'm using this black gel liner on my waterline. This is from Wet n Wild, and this is just their waterproof liner. So yeah, I'm still gonna go over there and see him as much as I can. Still trying to be low key though. In fact, I'm gonna make some treats right now, some frozen little popsicle treats, and we're gonna go over there and give him some. Girl, I'm gonna take you guys with me to go deliver the treats so you guys could see the dog that I'm talking about. He's so freaking cute and so precious. And I didn't mention to you guys, but I actually did find him a home before I knew that he wasn't gonna surrender the dog to me. For some reason, I just had a good feeling that he was gonna be like, yes, please, thank you for reaching out and offering to help. I would like to place him with you because I just can't do it. It's just too hard. And I would have respected them much more had he done that. This is so random, but this Fenty powder smells so freaking good. Up close and personal, girl. I'm gonna be filling in the bald spots of my brows with this NYX brow marker, and this is the best thing ever. It's my favorite. It's the Lift and Snatch brow marker in the shade Espresso. And I literally just fill in, as you guys can see, there's some baldness right here in this area. So I just go in with little hair-like strokes and fill in those bald gaps. Just like that. Now, if you guys think that I'm in the wrong, definitely let me know because, you know, maybe I'm overstepping my boundaries here. I'm also going to take my marker and fill in any moles that I have that got covered up with makeup, or if I have any zits, I will put that on there as well. I'm just going to dust off that powder. I'm going to use the Morphe Continuous Mist Setting Spray. This is also one of my favorites because it's so fine, the mist, that it doesn't mess with my makeup. I'm gonna use this Glam Doll Beauty highlighter, and I'm just gonna put this on my nose, down my nose, a little exclamation mark, and then a little bit on the inner corner of the eyes, just like that. All right, same lip combo as always, ColourPop BFF3 lip liner. Okay, now that it looks something like this, I'm gonna put a little bit of blush on there, and we're gonna finish the story. So now I'm taking the Kylie Cosmetics blush. This one is in the shade Pink Power. It's a beautiful light pink color. So I'm gonna just use this to set my lips in the center only. And then I'm also gonna put this underneath my eyes to blend my blush with my under eye a little bit more. Okay, so back to the story. I found a home that was willing to take the doggy, and I did make sure to let her know that this was not gonna be official, not to get her hopes up, because I still have no answer from the owner, but I just wanted to make sure that I had a home ready in case he was willing to surrender the dog, that I immediately had somewhere to take him. And this lady was so sweet. She was so nice. She had, I think, 2 other dogs, and they're so freaking spoiled rotten. Like, she literally had them wearing clothes and toys, and they go everywhere with her and like little car rides. So sweet. I was so excited in case that this was going to be the home, because I knew he would finally get the love that he deserved. And unfortunately, nothing is up to me. Nothing is in my control. I try to do what I can, and I'm still going to do what I can. Like I said, I'm going to make some treats right now and bring them over to him in an hour or so. I'm using this gloss from Essence, very hydrating and not sticky whatsoever. This one is in the shade Baby Rose. And I'm just gonna put this on the center of my lips. Literally my perfect lip combo. I always like to finish off my makeup look, even though this isn't considered makeup, but before I leave anywhere, I like to put a little hair oil in. Kenra Platinum Silkening Gloss, and it's amazing. I just take a few pumps of this and then run it through my hair just to give it some extra shine and to make all my frizz go away. Because girl, my hair be frizzy. Besties, this is my finished makeup look. Here's a little up close for you guys. Alright besties, thank you guys so much for watching. I love you guys so much. Make sure to give this video a big like. Comment down below what you think I should do next. If you're not already, make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I will see you guys in the next video. Love you guys.